This is the JFKO, the most prestigious tournament held in the origins of full contact karate. The event is held annually where the strongest karatekas in the country gather and compete against one another, all in the quest to becoming champion of Japan. While there are other anticipated tournaments held in the nation, the JFKO is unlike any other. Opposed to the open weight tournament, where we often see the smaller karateka being simply outpowered by the larger man, the JFKO allows the athlete to compete against an opponent of his own weight, taking away the size factor, which is determined by one's born genetics, and rather focusing on technique and skills perfected by a karateka through dedication and years of hard training. All things are equal not only on the court, but beyond it as well. The JFKO is the only tournament where all karatekas, regardless of school and branch, are openly welcome to participate, free from any discrimination. A truly fair environment where a karateka is not rewarded for his size, genetics, or affiliation, but rather for his skill, technique, and will to win. Over the past several years of covering karate, I've been fortunate enough to befriend some of the top prospects and legends of the sport. I thought it would be interesting to hear their thoughts leading into this important day, and so I wandered backstage and was pleasantly surprised with who I ran into.
久しぶりです。元気です。元気です。
楽しみにしてます。
お願いします。
Japanese karate Mike Tyson. パンチが速い。調子は
もうバッチリです、ね。
はいはい。
しっかりコンディションも整えてきたんで、まあ昨年と続き同じように、優勝を狙って頑張りたいと思います。
なんか意識してる相手とかいますか？
まあ意識してる相手っていうよりは、しっかりチャンピオンとして、
はい、
去年の自分に負けないように、自分がやるべきことをやって勝つだけです。
ありがとうございます。弟の兄弟で出てるんですけど、今回は階級が違うんですよ。
そうですね。自分は1個下の階級で出てます、
ちなみにトーナメントでぶつかったこととかあります？
兄と、あります。3回やってます。
3回やってるんですか？
別の大会だったりするんですけど、
結果聞いているから
1回だけ勝ってるんですけど2回負けてます
最後はどっちが勝ちました？
最後は兄です
僕の圧勝です。
いや、まだこれから
でも弟はリベンジ取らないといけないっていう
チャンスがあればいいので倒します
新しいシャツかっこいいですね。
ありがとうございます。
作ってくれてこんな感じで
かっこいいです。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
楽しみにしてます。今日頑張ってくれ。頑張ります。
This is Toda Yuji. I first met him several years ago at the Dream Festival. He caught my attention by besting Tsukamoto Norichika's son, Keijiro, in the finals. Since then, I've seen him compete in several national tournaments, was unsuccessful in leaving an impact, until the World Tournament held last year. Toda pulled off a major upset in beating Masaru Masayo from Poland, who was the top candidate in winning the tournament. While Toda was not successful in becoming champion that day, his sudden improvement and growth left everyone with a strong impression.
よく勝てたね。
いやもう気合で。
He's competing today at the judo級? The heaviest weight bracket, so looking forward to it. 誰か意識してる人いますか？なんかぶつかるっていう感じです。
後藤優太選手。絶対勝ちます。
後藤選手強いですからね。
強いですけど、自分のが練習してると思う。自分のが気持ち的にも強いと思う。
はいはい。
絶対勝ちます。
楽しみですね。
頑張ります。
ありがとうございます。頑張ってください。
ありがとうございます。
今日はもう楽しみです。
楽しみ。
はい。
ローチャンプおめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
今日は余裕ですよね。
そうですね。もう
そうですよね。No problem。
自分のやってきたことを信じて、今回は楽しみたいと思います。
はいはい。で、なんか優勝っていうか3位まで入ると、来年の、
WBO 出るからには優勝をしないと出る意味がないと思っているので、そこもしっかりと狙っていきます。
はい、楽しみにしてます。
ありがとうございます。
After greeting some of my friends, it was time for me to sit back and enjoy the show. The JFKO is a tournament with 5 weight classes both for male and female, while the female bracket holds approximately 30 to 70 competitors. In the male category, It is not uncommon for a single bracket to consist of over 140 karatekas, meaning one must fight and win 6 matches in a row to become champion. Taking first place in the JFKO is a tremendous achievement for a karateka, and one successful in doing so will be acknowledged and respected by all as the elite of Japan. A career and life-changing opportunity for all karatekas in the country. However, with this particular JFKO, there was more on the line. The top 3 of every weight category will be granted the honor of representing Japan in the very first weight category full contact world tournament held next year. With so much at stake, many of the top karatekas chose to preserve their strength for the later stages, simply outpointing their lesser opponent to avoid the risk of unnecessary damage. However, there were some that took a different approach. One of them being Toda.
So up next is Goto Yuta, who I've been checking out for quite some time. I like him because he knocks his opponents out.
This is Goto Yuta, the karateka Toda was talking about. While I can't call him a friend as we never spoke, his powerful strikes and ability to finish his opponents had made me a fan of his karate. Naturally, I always find myself following Goto's progression in these tournaments, who without fail makes it to the higher end of the bracket. As a result, my friend Watanabe Yusaku and Goto oftentimes find themselves clashing at the semi-finals or finals of the bracket. The last time being exactly a year ago, at the finals of the same JFKO. Yusaku was victorious that day, but the rivalry between the two has not ended, and is only a matter of time till they face each other once again. Kazushi and Toda made quick work of their opponent and safely moved on to the final 8 bracket, which was held in the second day of the event. Yusaku and Goto were also successful in making it to the next stage, potentially setting up the rivalry match between the two on one condition.
Goto 選手、I finally got to meet him. 2、3年前からちょこちょこ見てて、いつも相手を倒すんで、そこからなんか戦い方のファンになって、でも今日は僕の友達1試合目でぶつかるんですよ。
東田選手。
東田選手、そうなんです。相手としてどう考えてますか？
そうですね、すごく爆発力があってアグレッシブな選手なので、しっかりそこをうまく対応できるように頑張りたいと思います。
はい、めっちゃ楽しみにしてます。
はい、
東田選手もトーナメントが始まる前から、意識してる選手いますかって聞いたら、東田選手の名前も入ってたんで、まさかここでね、本当は決勝戦では見たいんですけど、はい、ちょっと複雑なところなんですけど、2人ともに頑張って、
ありがとうございます。頑張れば、ありがとうございます。
Speaking to both athletes heightened my interest in what was about to take place. How would Goto deal with the ferocity of Toda? And how would Toda react to Goto's powerful strikes? I was soon to find out. Toda wasted no time in engaging Goto. However, his overeagerness would soon get the better of him. In full contact karate, accidentally punching the face leads to a warning, which has no significance on the outcome of the match. That is, until another warning is issued. Should his opponent have no warnings, 2 warning leads to automatic defeat, critical to a karateka should he not score a knockout. Toda must be cautious, as another warning will most likely lead to his defeat. As the match resumed, the two met in the center of the canvas and exchanged heavy blows. Determined to win, neither were willing to take a step back, which led to an even give and take until the last 30 seconds of the match. With the strategy of stealing the victory, Toda unleashed a barrage of punches to Goto's body. A ferocious attack, but slightly uncontrolled. Receiving his second warning in the last seconds of the match, Toda's plan had completely backfired, and there was not much he could do. One could come to the conclusion that Toda lost the match simply due to misfortune. But on the flip side, you could say it was the composure that Goto maintained that was the difference between the two. Since Toda was brimming with confidence leading into the tournament, I expected him to be disheartened with the outcome of the match. But when I approached him, I was pleasantly surprised to see him in good spirits.
反則さえなければな。
はいはいはい。昨日見てたんですけど、驚きました。強くなりましたね。
そうですね、ちょっと成長しました。
はい。あと、超アグレッシブに行きますね。あんまりそのトーナメントだったり、次の試合もあるじゃないですか。あんまり考えないですか、そういうのは。
もう自分は考えないで真っ向勝負で自分はそういう考えでやってます。
みんな嫌がりますね。
あんまり様子見ちゃうと、
はい
やっぱ相手がもうどんどん強くしてきたりもあるんで、やっぱ自分は最初から
うん
行く感じで、
はい。後藤選手結構でかかったですよね。
大きかったですね。でも上段が結構強くて、
はい。
あと攻撃一発一発も強かった。
想像以上重かった。
そうですね。それにやっぱ打ち勝たなきゃ、
はい
まあ全国チャンピオンにはなれないんで、また
はいはい。
一から稽古して直します。
On the other side of the bracket, Watanabe Yusaku faced Eguchi Yuto, a JFKO champion from the weight class below. In combat sports, it is not uncommon for an athlete moving up in weight to hold a speed advantage against his heavier opponent. However, Watanabe Yusaku is no ordinary athlete. Yusaku controlled the match with his fast punches, swift footwork, and stinging low kicks, earning himself a 3-0 decision victory. With this, both Yusaku and Goto successfully moved on to the semi-finals of the tournament, and were only one victory away from facing each other for the championship.
I'm interested in that. I'm sure Goto wants his revenge, and Yusaku, he definitely wants to win this and gain some good momentum going into the World Tournament next year. So, interesting and intriguing matchup there. I hope they both make it to the finals.
This is Keijiro, son of the legend Tsukamoto Norichika. Famous for his do-mawashigeri knockouts, Tsukamoto Norichika was crowned the open-weight world champion at the young age of 21 and reclaimed the throne once again 16 years later, setting the record for being the youngest and oldest world champion of all time. And now his son follows in his footsteps. Mimicking his father's fight style, Keijiro relied on his craftiness, agility, and timing to outmaneuver his opponent, successfully making it to the semi-final bracket where he's going to be competing against Yoshizawa Hotaka.
Interestingly enough, they competed a year ago in the same arena, in the same tournament, and Hotaka was able to get a decision and beat him. I'm hoping Keijiro is able to make it to the finals because who's on the other side is 140, Fukuchi Yuto.
Keijiro and Hotaka compete in the Churyokyu weight category, a weight category where every competitor has their eye on this man. Three-time JFKO Churyokyu champion, Fukuchi Yuto. Similar to Keijiro, Fukuchi's expertise lies in his craftiness and wide arsenal of techniques. Interestingly enough, the similarity in fight style is no coincidence. In his earlier days, Fukuchi was mentored by Tsukamoto Norichika before he decided to take off on his own path. For reasons like so, Fukuchi is a controversial character and is widely known that many in the karate community are not fond of his behavior. However, nevertheless, Fukuchi has proven himself as an elite karateka. Taking first place in the JFKO is no easy feat, and he has accomplished this not once, but several times. And by successfully scoring a waza-ari in the semi-finals, Fukuchi was only one more victory away from adding another JFKO championship to his resume.
So if Tsukamoto's son climbs to the finals by beating Hotaka, then those two are going to meet in the finals. It's very interesting.
As the match began, Keijiro, digging into his bag of tricks, did well in keeping his distance, hitting and moving before Hotaka could retaliate. However, the veteran made adjustments and soon found a way to close the space. Keijiro, not being comfortable in close quarters, made a small mistake and held his opponent for just a second, resulting in him receiving his first warning. Whether it was due to the warning or not, I'm not sure. But from there on, the tides of the match shifted in favor of Hotaka. While evading Keijiro's Owaza, Hotaka was successful in bringing the fight in close quarters once again, which led to Keijiro receiving his second warning. With little time left, Keijiro did everything in his power to score the knockout. But was unable to do so. With a unanimous victory, Hotaka moved on to the finals to face Fukuchi.
Tsukamoto Norichika-san, he wasn't able to avenge his loss against Yoshizawa Hotaka. So Hotaka moves on to the finals and faces Fukuchi. But what I forgot was Fukuchi and Hotaka competed last year in the same arena, same tournament. Basically, Fukuchi versus Hotaka is also a rematch, and what happened last year, Hotaka won the decision. So this is also a revenge match for Fukuchi. We'll see if he can pull it off.
With the final match set in the Churyokyu, my attention was brought back to Goto, who was competing in the semi-finals against two-time JFKO Keijuryokyu champion Tada Nariyoshi, since Tada Nariyoshi was moving up in weight to challenge for his second championship. The size difference between the two was clear for everyone to see. Goto, being the larger man, was able to absorb Tada's strikes, allowing him to hold his ground while attempting knockout blows. It was only a matter of time till Goto would land one of these lethal strikes. Or at least I thought it would be. To my surprise, Tada's relentless pace and punches started to slowly take effect. At first, it may not have been noticeable, but as time went on, it was clearly visible that Goto was being forced on his heels. The judges took notice of this and awarded Tada Nariyoshi the victory and a shot at becoming a two-weight JFKO champion. Who had faced Tada Nariyoshi in the finals was the winner of this match, Watanabe Yusaku versus Tada Daisuke. Yusaku, utilizing his speed and footwork, hit and then moved. He was doing well in controlling the pace by dictating when, and when not, the two will engage. However, Tada's constant forward pressure and heavy blows would soon start to wear on him. Even in close quarters, Yusaku did well in striking while circling around his opponent. But as the match continued, Tada found a home for his powerful low kicks, knees, and punches to the body. While it was not a dominating performance, it was enough for Tada Daisuke to get the nod from all 5 of the judges. As a friend of Yusaku, the outcome was disheartening for me. However, this is the reality of combat sports. You can't control the outcome, and you never know what's going to happen.
Goto and Yusaku are going to meet for the 3rd place spot. And this is quite important because number 1, number 2, and number 3 get a spot in the World Tournament next year. So these two are literally fighting for a spot in the World Tournament because 4th place doesn't make it. In that way, it is quite dramatic.
Before Yusaku versus Goto took place, the Churyokyu finals took the stage. Fukuchi Yuto versus Yoshizawa Hotaka for the JFKO championship. Similar to last year, neither were able to fully take control of the match, making the judges call for another round. In the extension round, the match was an even give and take, which forced the judges to call for a 3rd round. Up until this point, neither karateka was successful in landing a significant strike, until with the judges admitting it as a waza-ari, and Fukuchi appealing it as an illegal strike. The verdict was to be determined by instant replay. Coincidentally, several matches ago, a karateka was disqualified for falsely appealing an illegal blow. Should the replay show Fukuchi was hit clean in the chest, it would lead to his disqualification. With the replay confirming Fukuchi's appeal, Hotaka was dealt a warning and the match resumed. Both karatekas, not willing to take a step back, exchanged strikes in the center of the canvas. In the heat of the exchange, Hotaka lost his cool for a second, resulting in him receiving his second warning for pushing the opponent. Hotaka quickly engaged Fukuchi, but it was too late. Even before the official announcement, all in the arena knew who was victorious. Fukuchi Yuto not only avenged his loss to Hotaka, but successfully claimed the JFKO Churyokyu Championship for the 4th time. A tremendous feat for any karateka. Up next was the Juryokyu finals, Tada Nariyoshi versus Tada Daisuke. Since the two karatekas not only had the same name but similar offensive styles, they wasted little time before exchanging strikes in close quarters. Nariyoshi was holding his own against Daisuke, but as time went on, it was Daisuke who started to slightly get the better of the exchanges. However, 3 of the 5 judges felt it was not enough to award Daisuke with a decision. The championship was to be determined in the extra round. Accessing everything in his power reserves, Nariyoshi attacked in an attempt to break down his steadfast opponent. He was fighting courageously, but Daisuke's low kicks were starting to take its toll. When Nariyoshi defended with his left leg, Daisuke adapted and attacked the right leg. And when Nariyoshi was focused on the right, Daisuke centered his attacks to the body. Daisuke was exploiting the holes in Nariyoshi's defense and landing clean strikes. But even so, Nariyoshi would not be deterred. He was doing everything he possibly could to claim victory. However, the human body has its limitations, and his opponent was clearly the fresher of the two. When the clock ran out, Daisuke knew he had done enough to win. With a 5-0 unanimous decision, Tada Daisuke claimed the JFKO Juryokyu Championship. A disappointing result for Tada Nariyoshi, but he was not left empty-handed. Since the top 3 will be granted the honor of representing Japan in the weight category Full Contact World Tournament, coming in 2nd place earned Nariyoshi the opportunity of not only avenging his loss, but also becoming a world champion. The same opportunity was on the line for semi-finalists Watanabe Yusaku and Goto Yuta, who took the stage to compete for the 3rd place. As always, Yusaku started out with a high pace, landing punches while swiftly circling around his opponent. Goto responded by heavy and powerful low kicks, and a battle between Yusaku's punches and Goto's kicks took place. At first, the exchanges were even, but with each kick Goto landed, Yusaku's mobility, footwork, and volume of strikes seemed to diminish. It came to the point where Goto was clearly forcing Yusaku on the back foot. With only 30 seconds left in the match, Yusaku mustered his strength in an attempt to take back control. But it was too little, too late. The outcome was a 5-0 unanimous decision for Goto, who not only defeated his longtime rival in Watanabe Yusaku, but also claimed his place in the World Tournament next year. With not one of my friends capturing the championship so far, I had but one hope left. Remember this knockout? This is Otsubo Yuki. He had successfully climbed his way to the finals along with Maehira Toma, a karateka from the same Shibu. While it might seem unthinkable to fight your own training partner, it is not uncommon for a karateka to compete against a friend, especially in the later stages of the tournament. Since both athletes were familiar with the other's movements, the exchanges played out in an even give and take. That is, for the initial stages. As time went on, it was Maehira that was initiating the attack and landing the cleaner strikes. While to the novice's eye it may not have been noticeable, the judges did not leave Maehira's diligence unrewarded. The verdict was a 5-0 one-sided decision for Maehira. And once again, I was left with an empty feeling. I could only imagine what the athletes that fell short were dealing with, along with those who helped and supported them to this point. I was reluctant at first, but I felt as though I had to hear what was going through the mind of Tsukamoto Norichika, who is not only a father to Keijiro, but mentor to Yusaku and Kazushi. Here's what he had to say.
結果としては、ベスト4、悪くはないけど、負けなんで、正直ちょっと悔しい。
大会が始まる昨日なんですけど、息子さんが結構、成長してきたっていう話をしたんですけども、今日のパフォーマンスを見て、今はどう感じてるんですか？
そうですね。18歳にしたら、
はい、はい。
よくやってると、思いますけど、
はい、はい。
よくやってると思います。
はい、はい。
一応世界大会のキックが取れたんで、
そうですね。
来年、菊池選
はい。
手を目指して、しっかり練習して、頑張りたいと思います。
はい。
No karateka is guaranteed the championship. Only a select few out of hundreds will achieve such greatness. While things did not go as planned for Tsukamoto Norichika, his students, and my other friends, this is not the end of their story. A true karateka will hone and perfect their craft every day, regardless of victory or defeat. I choose to believe that those who refuse to give in and continue to chase their dreams will one day be rewarded for their diligence. Their moment of glory will come someday.